Whether you're working at Twitter, LinkedIn, GE, Fox, every job requires a certain skill. What if you had the tools to pinpoint the candidate with the perfect temperament and knowledge for the specific job you need to fill? As the U.S. economy churned out 215,000 new jobs in the month of July, one software maker is revolutionizing the way companies do business, from sales to employee performance. Infor is the company, and what it does is it meticulously tracks each metric and customizes it for every client. Macy's, the Cheesecake Factory, and the Gap are now big followers and big names under Infor's roof. The man who's come up with all of this, with his team, of course, in a Fox Business exclusive, Infor CEO Charles Phillips. Well, I just really built this up. But
you did.
You and I have spoken in the past about how you are told by certain companies, this is the kind of person we need for this job, and you're able to find the near perfect employee. How does that work, Charles?
Well, science and data has changed the game here. It used to be that you interviewed someone with a resume and you take a good guess if they're going to be a good employee or
not. Wild guess.
Yes. Yeah. And you don't have much information. So now industrial psychologists have learned how to measure people's personality to see if they're a good fit for a job. So what we've done is use science and automate that process and measure something like 25% of the working population in the U.S. And we measure things like their attention to detail, the acceptance of discipline, are they empathetic? And you can measure these things with industrial psychologists now.
You just said empathetic. I'm thinking of nurses. And you do a lot of business in the healthcare world, correct?
Yeah, 72% of the hospitals in the U.S. run our software. And one of the markets that they run is for talent science. And so when you're measuring empathy, that's something good to know about a nurse. So if they're empathetic, you might want to put them in the maternity ward. If they're not, maybe somewhere else.
And or if they're really hyper aggressive, maybe that's the person you want in the ICU.
Exactly,
like
emergency room. And so you want to put a person in a job that they like, that they're fit for, because if they don't like the job, they're not going to stay long.
So what did you do for Cheesecake Factory? How would you apply that?
So they wanted to raise the amount of tips that the waitresses were getting, because they can pay them lower salaries if they're getting higher tips. So you train them to be empathetic and nice to customers. And we measured people who had that inclination, 44% higher tips.
You're kidding. After Infor came in.
After we picked the right people who can treat customers in a way to draw out the tips.
Look, you watched the debate last night, didn't you?
I did. I couldn't stop watching it. Right. I haven't had much sleep.
Because it was that riveting.
It was. It was entertaining.
What spoke to you about the debate? Because they didn't touch too much upon the economy or job creation or regulations.
Well, number one, I thought there were a lot of good candidates up there, and I was surprised by Kasich that he was authoritative, he had gravitas, thoughtful and logical, and I hadn't really paid much attention to him before. So it was hard for anyone to make a mark because there's too many people on the stage, but he did.
Well, then he did. Isn't that interesting? John Kasich, and I'm hearing that from a lot of people, and we've told you on this show to watch John Kasich because if not president, maybe the vice presidential ticket, because everybody needs the state of Ohio.
Well, I'm a big Hillary Clinton supporter, I must admit, so being a native Arkansan, but if there were a Republican to win, I would certainly support him.
You are also a captain in the U.S. Marine.
Yes.
In the Marines. You know, looking at the military, does it matter to you how a candidate is going to be talking about funding the military?
Absolutely. These are our proud warriors. They protect us every day, and I still have lots of friends, and I'm on the board of the Air Force Academy as well. So I hear a lot of this, and they're concerned about it, but particularly veterans coming back from service, and we have more wounded than ever. So making sure they transition back into society, that we get them in universities, they can go to school, all those sorts of things.
If you had to grade Fox News on that debate, because you were up all night watching it,
it was great theater. You guys did a fantastic job, and it was all the build-up, all the theaters. It was Broadway.
And this from a Hillary Clinton fan.
Yeah, that's true. You guys have your own reality show now, the debate.
Thank you so much, Charles.
Good
the
to see you
company
again.
is called Infor. He is the CEO, and we thank you for your service as a U.S. Marine captain.
Thank you.
Great to have you. Closing